Hello, my name's Andy. Welcome to episode 51 of Keeping Water. In this week's episode, I'm going to add an air disc into the pond to increase oxygenation and circulation. Before setting it up, I was undecided which air pump to use, my original one or the new one I installed in last week's episode. I was keen to reduce the air supply to the moving bed, so my first try would be with the new one. Keep watching to see how it went. I'm just one episode away from the 52nd episode, which will complete the first full year of YouTubing. I can't thank everyone enough who has subscribed and engaged with the channel. I can be a little slow in engaging myself. This week has been a prime example due to work, but I really appreciate everyone's support. Up to 312 subs at the time of making this video, which is amazing. If you're new to the channel or not yet subscribed, please give some thought to subscribing. It's really helpful and motivating, and as many YouTubers say, it's free and you can always change your mind. If you've watched previous episodes, you'll know that my fish have had some health issues, but that I'm waiting for them to be resolved before telling the whole story. As a brief update, however, the fish's issues remain, although they're definitely no worse. They're as active and greedy as ever, and aside from some topical issues, they're otherwise healthy. Hopefully, they'll be fully recovered soon and I can tell you the whole story. Next week's episode will be a review of my year of YouTubing, where I'll be reflecting on what's gone well and not so well, and I'd really appreciate if you watched and shared your thoughts, as it will all go towards making the channel better. Right, let's get started. The first job in installing the air disc was, obviously, to clear some plants to make room for drilling a hole into the shed to take the pipe from the pump to the pond. That done, I could drill a 16mm hole. I had off-screen measured and marked where I needed to drill it, so I could miss electrics and filter pipework, which is kind of important I think, and shows I'm learning slowly. I then passed the hose pipe through the hole and into the shed. As you can see, my measuring was spot on, and the hose came through only a little closer to the pipes and electrics than I'd estimated. No harm, no foul. I then added a connector to the end of the hose, well, after some trimming to remove the end I'd damaged pushing it through the shed wall. The connector would enable me to add the air disc to the splitter from the new air pump and swap between using the disc in the pond and boiling the static media in the multi-bay during cleaning. If the new pump ended up being the one I used after testing, that was. That done, I needed to run the hosepipe by the walled area and towards the skimmer return, where I could hide the pipework. Next, I could remove the two rocks that weren't cemented in place to hide the pipe under where it entered the pond. Then I added the sink-in airline to the disc. I added a clip here and at the other connections just to be sure, although the connections were pretty tight anyway. Air disc was then placed in position in the pond, which then allowed me to work out how much hosepipe I needed to use before cutting and connecting it to the airline. Rocks back in place next, which was tricky to do one-handed while filming and not something I usually do, and well, maybe won't do again. I then measured out the airline with the hose pipe and cut the pipe, leaving some slack for future tweaking. I then connected them together with a brass reducer, which was a perfect fit, though I still used clips as backup. It's all a bit messy, but I've planned for some other tweaks in this area and I'll tidy it up then. Now I could test it. I swapped out the static bed cleaning line with the air disc line and opened the tap. And nothing happened. So, to properly test it, I turned off air to the moving bed and then checked again. And yep, I think it was working, maybe a little too much again. So I opened up the moving bed feed again and rechecked. Better, although I prefer a bit more into the pond and a little less into the moving bed. Therefore, after some double checking, I needed to do some more tweaking to get it right. First, I spent some time getting the air discs in the best position in the moving bed. That's all done. I reduced the air to the moving bed to get the balance I wanted and pretty much got it perfect first time, which isn't always how things work out for me. A look at it underwater. Bit of a shame that recent rain and treatments have clouded things up a bit, but I think we can see enough to know that it's looking good. You can see in this clip that I've some significant algae growth, but it's only in this one spot and I don't really mind how it looks, and I'm going to get the fish 100% before worrying about it. All in all, a good result. I've reduced the air to the moving bed, got an excellent amount of air into the pond, and still have a spare backup air pump for emergencies or a new, as yet unthought of project. Happy days. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Keeping Water. I really do appreciate it. If you've enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe if you're not already. Next week, as I've said, is episode 52 and annual review time. I'd be delighted if you came back and watched. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.